Chapter 39, Chapter 6, Part 2. Seashell Hotel, Main Lobby. 5:00 p.m. Mario and his friends crept back into the hotel as quietly and slowly as they could. Mario's heart was pounding, and he was fully aware of his partners cowering behind him as he pushed the door open and stepped inside. He didn't know what he was expecting, an ambush, probably, but he quickly saw that there was nobody. The once pristine lobby was now a complete mess thanks to the recent struggle, but apart from their little group, it was completely empty and disturbingly quiet. The only sound came from the flowing water of the fountain.
"Where is everybody, Mario?"
Stubba asked timidly, holding tightly onto his club.
"I think they're up on the very top,"
the plumber replied softly, gazing up at the ceiling and trying to imagine how far away they were. What had the manager said? Didn't this hotel have 30 stories? And the Dark Striders must have booby-trapped every last one of them. And what were they doing to all those people right this very minute? All those innocent hostages whose only crime was being in the hotel at the same time as Mario. Suddenly he felt himself flushing hot with rage. He spun around and kicked the wall as hard as he could. His partners stared at him in shock.
"Mario, what's the matter?"
Maisie asked worriedly.
"What do you think is the matter?"
He snapped back in a harsher voice than he had intended.
"All those people up there are being held hostage because of us. This is all our fault."
He kicked the wall again.
"Those Dark Striders. They just won't give up. They don't care who they have to hurt if it means getting in our way, do they? I can't take this anymore."
He kept pounding on the wall until finally he grew too tired to go on. Letting out a deep, despairing sigh, he slid to the floor and gazed off miserably. His partners were too frightened to say anything.
"It's like everywhere we go, we put people in danger,"
he groaned, running his fingers through his hair.
"No wonder Peach gets kidnapped so much. This whole thing is probably my fault somehow." "Oh, Mario. Don't say that,"
Delia sighed, stepping up to him.
"This isn't your fault. If it weren't for you, the Dark Striders would have gotten away with a lot worse things than this." "Yeah. I mean, think about all the people you've helped since you came here."
Hannah persisted.
"And we're gonna help these people too. Those blue jerks aren't gonna get away with this." "The gals are right, Mario,"
Snatchel agreed firmly.
"But we ain't gonna be helped to nobody if we're just standin' here and mopin'."
Mario let out another sigh and looked up at his partners. They were all gazing down expectantly at him, looking concerned and waiting for his reply. Suddenly he felt incredibly guilty. He wasn't much of a leader if he was the first one to lose it when things got rough.
"Yeah, you guys are right,"
he finally muttered, picking himself up and dusting himself off.
"If those guys got captured because of us, then I guess it's our job to get up there and save them."
Hannah grinned.
"That's the spirit. We should be quiet, though,"
he went on, trying to regain some semblance of leadership.
"In case there are any Dark Striders around here, we don't want them to know where we are and—"
Suddenly there came a loud crash from somewhere outside the room.
"Too late,"
he groaned.
"What was that?"
asked Delia, turning to face the noise along with the others and looking scared.
"It sounded like it came from that hallway."
By unspoken agreement, the group quickly steeled themselves and crept out of the lobby into the adjacent hallway. It was much less fancy than the room they had just left, and was obviously only meant for utilities. In fact, they quickly realized the crash had come from inside a broom closet. And even now, there were still rustling and bumping noises coming from behind the locked door.
"It must be a Dark Strider trying to get the jump on us,"
Mario whispered as they all gathered around the door.
"He's not doing a real good job,"
Gumblane snorted. The plumber gripped his hammer.
"On 3, we break in there and capture him for questioning,"
he ordered, and his group nodded.
1, 2.
The person in the closet must have heard Mario, because suddenly he spoke.
Wait. Please don't hurt me, little blue dudes. I'm totally innocent, man."
Mario nearly fell over in surprise.
"Wait, that's Ferdinand!"
Hannah cried, racing up to the door and tugging on the knob.
"Ferdy! It's us. Open up." "Hey, Mario dudes.
Suddenly the knob began to turn, the door swung open, and out tumbled Ferdinand, along with several mops that fell on top of him.
What the heck are you doing in there?
Gwynplaine scoffed at him.
Oh. Mario dudes. It is you. What a relief, man.
Ferdinand groaned, quickly pulling himself to his feet.
I thought you bailed when those blue dudes came in here. I don't know what just happened, but that was a most unawesome experience. Ferdinand, you didn't see what happened to everybody else, did you?
Asked Mario.
I mean, it's good to see that you're okay, but we're the only ones who made it out of there, and now everybody else is gone.
The bumpty lowered his head and looked guilty.
Sorry, Mario dude. I totally hoofed it in here as soon as I could. But it sounded like the blue dudes made off with everybody and went to some other floor.
He covered his face with his flippers.
Including the rest of the bumpty boarders. Oh, man. My bros are getting wailed on. What do I do? The bumpty boarders can't go out like this. Oh, no.
Cried Stubba, who was clearly a big fan of Ferdinand and his friends.
Mario, we gotta go save the other guys. They were so nice to us. Okay, calm down everybody,
Mario said quickly.
Look, Ferdinand. There's something we have to tell you. Those blue guys who kidnapped your friends. They're called Dark Striders.
He gazed guiltily at the floor, reluctant to go on.
And they came here because of us. I'm sorry, Ferdinand. It's our fault the other bumptis were taken away.
Ferdinand stared at him.
Dude. You mean you've been fighting those dudes this whole time? They're trying to take over the world.
Mario blinked at his reaction.
Well, yes. Oh, man. This is even worse than I thought. This is a most heinous act of glacial proportions.
He cried, flailing his arms in the air.
Well, I can't just chill out down here and let those dudes have their way with our world, man. I happen to like living here. You gotta let me help you dudes.
Maisie looked stunned.
You want to come with us? Wait a minute. Aren't you upset?
Asked Mario.
I mean, we brought all this on you.
Ferdinand vehemently shook his head.
No way, man. I know a straight-up dude like you would never let this happen on purpose. And like I said, you gotta let me hook up with you. You've gotta save the world, and I've gotta rescue my bros. Bumpty boarders never leave each other behind.
Mario suddenly realized the full implications of what Ferdinand was requesting.
Well, if you're sure about this, I suppose you can come with us. It'll definitely be safer for us if we all stay together. What?
Snatchel didn't look pleased at all to hear this.
Now hang on a minute, shouldn't we maybe talk about this before we decide on anything? There's nothing to talk about, Snatchel. We need all the help we can get.
Mario said firmly before turning back to Ferdinand.
Okay Ferdinand, you stick with us. Yeah. Righteous. I won't let you down, man.
The bumpty cheered. The atmosphere lightened up considerably as everyone gathered around and eagerly welcomed their eighth and final party member, except for Snatchel, who was busy banging his head against the wall. Ferdinand joined Mario's party. Ferdinand is a gnarly bumpty surfer dude who lives for excitement and jumps on any thrill life throws at him. He can slide along the ground with ease, and Mario can hitch a ride on his back in order to travel faster. He can even flutter over gaps that are too wide to jump and carry Mario with him. In battle, he can attack an enemy with a defense-piercing beak jab, or use flutter lift on Mario to protect him from ground-based attacks. Seashell Hotel, 2nd floor. 5:02 p.m. After spending a while trying to figure out their first course of action, Mario decided they might as well take advantage of the hotel's amenities while they were on their rescue mission. So after swiping a card key from behind the front desk, the group traveled up the stairs to the 2nd floor and opened up room 201.
This is really weird,
said Hanner as they all stepped into the room.
We're actually staying in here while there's a hostage situation going on. Now guys, this hotel is a really big place. And we still don't know what the Dark Striders have done to it.
Mario explained as he flipped the lights on.
If we need to split up or if somebody gets hurt, we need some kind of base to come back to. So let's meet back in here if we have to.
Maisie smiled.
What a wonderful idea. That's awfully clever of you, Mario.
Meanwhile Stubba eagerly climbed onto one of the huge beds and started jumping on it.
Alright. Well, let's get down to business.
Mario rubbed his hands together.
Ferdinand, you've been here before, haven't you? We're going to need somebody who knows their way around this place. You can count on me, man.
The bumpty gave him a salute.
Well dudes, the totally tricked out thing about this place is that there's something on just about every floor. A pool, a ballroom. They've got the works here, man. Yay. That sounds like fun.
Stubba cheered as he bounced up and down.
Normally it would be, but now it just means there are more places for the Dark Striders to use,
Hanner muttered.
Well, this is terrific. And that's not all of it,
Mario decided.
I'm sure they're hiding all over this place and waiting for us, so we're going to have to find them first. We have to flush out each and every one of them and beat them.
His partners looked surprised.
What? But isn't that going to be a waste of time?
Asked Julia.
I mean, there's still all those people up there. And you really think the Dark Striders would let us just barge up there and save them?
Mario countered, shaking his head.
No way. If I know them, we'll have to get rid of them all if we even want a chance of getting up there safely. Anyway, it'll be best if we can beat them all now so they don't come after us later. Mario has a point,
Maisie sighed.
I'm sure they're not going to let us walk all the way up to the top floor without giving us trouble. They may even be watching us right now. Haha. Well, I guess you guys are smarter than you look.
Everyone spun around and saw that voice had come from a wicked-looking Dark Strider who was standing in the doorway, flexing his claws and blocking off their escape. Most of the group screamed and jumped backwards, although Snatchel just rolled his eyes and punched him in the face.
Okay, let's do it Mario's way,
Hanner decided after the Dark Strider had slumped to the ground and burst into smoke.
Right. Now let's get out of here before more of them come after us. Aw, come on, that was fun,
said Snatchel, cracking his knuckles and quickly following after the others as Mario led them out the door. Seashell Hotel, 5th floor. 5:08 p.m. Ferdinand eagerly led the way up the stairs and through the next several floors. Mario was surprised at how well the bumpty knew his way around this place. Not only that, but he was still getting used to how fancy it was in here. Even in the hallways that led off to the rooms, the floor was lavishly carpeted and a series of miniature chandeliers were hanging from the ceiling. Just as Mario had predicted, there were several Dark Striders hiding on every floor, but by now Mario's party was large enough that they didn't stand a chance, even when they teamed up in groups of 4 or 5. Even Ferdinand turned out to be a surprisingly good fighter, and it often took only a good beak jab or two from him to down one of their opponents. But as Mario soon found out, just because they couldn't pick the heroes off in a fight didn't mean they couldn't cause other problems.
Too bad those guys had to go and break the elevator, or this'd be a lot easier,
Hanner panted as they trudged up another flight of stairs and arrived up at the 5th floor.
True that,
Ferdinand agreed.
Okay dudes, on this floor we've got the... what was it? Oh yeah. The art gallery. Paintings and stuff, you know. Really? That doesn't sound so bad,
said Mario as the group walked along.
In fact it sounds kind of, whoa.
He jerked to a stop just in time as he realized he had almost walked right into a huge hole the Dark Striders had blasted into the floor. As he cautiously edged up to it and peered down, he found he could see all the way back down to the 4th floor.
That looks like it'll cost a lot to fix,
he remarked after a moment.
This is no good. Now we're stuck over here.
Maisie realized as the partners crowded around and peered down as well.
The stairs are on the other side.
Ferdinand didn't look worried.
Aw, come on, dude. This is no problem for yours truly. I can give all you dudes a lift over there if you want.
Mario looked up and stared at him.
You mean you can fly over this thing?
Snatchel folded his arms suspiciously.
Ain't penguins supposed to be flightless birds? I never sweat the details, man,
the bumpty said unconcernedly.
Come on, Mario dude, hop on. I'll show you. I don't gotta be riding the waves to get some air, know what I mean?
Looking a little uneasy, Mario decided to do like he said and climbed on his back. No sooner had he done that than Ferdinand gave an excited cheer and started rapidly flapping his arms, rising right up into the air.
Whoa!
Stubba gasped as the two of them soared over the hole in the floor. Mario was so startled that he accidentally let go of Ferdinand, slipping off and grabbing onto the bumpy's foot at the last second before they reached the other side and landed safely.
Wow! You were right, Ferdinand. Sorry I doubted you,
he said sheepishly. In response, the bumpy just gave him another overly hearty slap on the back.
No worries, man. Now how about I get all you other dudes over here, hey?
And so he flew all the other partners over to the other side as well, looking none the worse for wear at the end. Most of them seemed to have more fun than Mario had.
Man, you're the coolest, Ferdy,
Hannah laughed once they'd all made it across.
Yeah, that was so neat. I wish I could do that,
Stubba said wistfully. Mario was about to speak up when he suddenly froze. He could very distinctly make out a bunch of voices coming from somewhere else on the floor. They weren't alone up here.
Whoa! You heard that too, man?
Asked Ferdinand, suddenly looking serious for once.
I think it's coming from the gallery.
Very cautiously, the group followed after the bumpy and walked over to the gallery situated in the middle of the floor, surrounded by guest rooms. As soon as they walked into it, Mario gasped. They had just entered a very pristine-looking room with stark white walls and a wooden floor. Hanging from the walls and ceiling were dozens of enormous paintings. Mario's breath was taken away by the sheer size of some of them, as well as their brilliant colors and overwhelming detail. He was starting to get a feel of how fancy this hotel really was, as surely only the most prestigious places in the world could house paintings like these. Unfortunately, the mood was a little spoiled by the group of terrified hotel guests crowded together in the middle of the room, flanked by a group of dark striders.
What's going on in here?
Mario cried. The demonic imps immediately spun around and bristled at the sight of him.
Mario! So you made it!
One of them laughed as Mario's team leapt into battle stances.
Too bad you're a little late to save your precious little friends here. They were being particularly troublesome, so Riz gave us the order to punish them appropriately. Now, hang on. What are they doing down here?
The plumber frowned in confusion at the captured guests.
I thought your leader said you were holding everyone on the top floor.
The dark striders suddenly looked a little uneasy.
Well, that was Jaff's idea, but Riz insisted that we do this,
one of them spoke up.
She said Jaff is a fool and there are far worse things that we could do to these people than simply hold them captive. What are you guys talking about? And who's Riz?
Hannah demanded. Mario was wondering the same thing. He was a little intrigued at this sign of dissent in the ranks. The Dark Strider seemed to realize he had said too much.
Oh, that's none of your business,
he snarled.
We'll do what we please with these people and you can't stop us. Uh-oh. I just had a thought, dudes,
Ferdinand said uneasily.
The whole reason this gallery is so famous is that it's sorta magic. Basically, anything that's inside those paintings can come out of it. Or vice versa, man.
The guests looked horrified.
What?
One of them cried.
You mean they're going to? Shut up.
The Dark Strider snarled, giving him a smack.
I just hate it when our plans get spoiled, but yes, if you don't start behaving, we'll imprison you in those paintings forever. Just like we did with that wimpy yellow star.
Suddenly he paused and seemed to reconsider.
But Mario, since you've been impeding us for so long, perhaps you would like to be the first to go. Dark Striders, attack!
An attack they did. Predictably, that didn't work out too well for them.
Wait guys. Let me do it.
Hannah cried before anyone else could move. The other partners jumped back in surprise as she suddenly wound up with her hammer as though she were about to swing it like a baseball bat, and a crackling ball of electricity appeared in the air right in front of her.
Whoa!
Mario gasped. Hannah swung her hammer with all her might and hit the lightning ball head-on. Upon contact, it instantly exploded into a storm of lightning bolts that streaked off in all directions and blasted every Dark Strider in the room. They all shrieked as they were sent flying into the wall and instantly burst into smoke.
Yeah. Bolt hammer rocks.
She cheered, dancing around as the other partners gawked at her.
You sure that wasn't overkill?
Gwynplaine huffed at her in exasperation.
Phew. Thanks for saving us. That was pretty impressive.
One of the guests said to Mario as soon as they realized they were safe.
I really thought we were done for a minute. No worries. But you guys had better get out of here while you still can. We'll take it from here. You don't need to tell me twice,
cried another guest as they all raced out the door and over to the stairs. After they had left, Mario started looking thoughtful.
Well, that was interesting,
he said.
If I know Jaff, and I think I do by now, he's not gonna be happy that those guys are going behind his back. And who's Riz, I wonder? Doesn't sound like she likes him very much.
Delia mused.
You think maybe she's trying to mess his plans up? Geez, am I seriously the only one paying attention here?
Gwynplaine growled.
Who cares about all that? Did you freaks all forget what he said about a yellow star? They hid one of those Luma things in here.
Mario's eyes widened.
Oh, man, you're right. They trapped it in a painting, didn't they? We gotta find that thing.
The group quickly split up and started looking all around the gallery for any sign of a Luma hidden in a painting, but much to their dismay, they didn't find a thing. On the other hand, Mario felt himself drawn to a very large painting depicting nothing but a sunny daytime sky. He rubbed his chin, getting a long look at the painting.
I think I know where it is, guys. Come over here.
They all walked over to him, and the minute they did, Mario grabbed the Ian hourglass and turned it over, causing them all to vanish. Seashell Hotel, 5th floor. 5:08 a.m.
Haha. Just like I thought,
said Mario, grinning in triumph as he turned to look at the painting again. Here in Nightside it didn't depict a sun, but rather a moonlit sky filled with stars. And one of those stars was a terrified-looking Luma.
Hang on, little guy. I'll get you out of there,
Mario shouted to it. His partners watched in confusion as he suddenly took several steps backwards. And their eyes popped out of their heads as he ran forward and jumped right into the painting.
Holy cow!
Hannah cried.
Whoa! How'd you do that, Mario?
Stubba gasped as Mario came leaping out moments later with the Luma in his hands.
Actually, I do that more often than you would think. It's pretty fun,
the plumber replied, chuckling at the baffled looks of all his partners standing in front of him. And then he did a double take. All of them were standing in front of him.
Hang on. Ferdinand. You're still here.
As soon as he said that, the other partners instantly turned away from him and stared at Ferdinand instead. The bumpty gave himself a look over.
It would appear so, dude. Should I not be? Well, it's just...
Mario's head started reeling. Could this mean what he thought it meant? But no, it couldn't possibly.
Ferdinand. Did you ever notice anything unusual about the sun?
He began.
Like, how it always seems to stay in one place and never sets.
Ferdinand quickly brightened up at Mario's words.
Oh yeah. You guys caught on to that too, hey? Totally righteous. I was kinda wondering about that.
The other partners looked incredulously at each other.
So you did notice,
said Mario, suddenly finding himself fighting off a migraine.
But you never once thought there was something strange about that. Oh yeah, sure I did,
Ferdinand said with a shrug.
But I figured, why worry about it? Everything happens for a reason, man. Just gotta go with the flow.
Mario blinked slowly.
I don't rightly believe this,
Snatchel groaned, covering his face in his hands.
Okay Ferdinand, listen,
Mario sighed.
I'm glad you haven't been worrying this whole time, but trust me. This whole thing with the sun is something very bad that we need to put a stop to right away.
And not for the first time, he found himself explaining the story of the Guardians and the Sun Souls to his latest partner. Thankfully, Ferdinand seemed to understand the seriousness of it.
Whoa! That's totally deep, man,
he said in awe.
So you guys are like, fighting to restore the balance of the world and stuff. That's tricked out. Yeah, you could say that. Anyway, that's the whole reason the Dark Striders came here in the first place. There's a sun soul up there somewhere, and we have to get it.
Ferdinand immediately straightened up.
Well, dudes. What are we chilling out down here for then? We got a sun thingy to find. Let's go.
And with that he raced out of the gallery and back down the hallway as fast as he could. None of the others followed after him, though. In fact, the moment he had gone, Mario slowly turned to his other partners.
Well, I didn't see this one coming. Somehow I did,
Hannah mused.
Oh, don't worry about it, Mario,
said Delia, trying to be optimistic.
I mean, he must have been chosen for a reason, just like the rest of us, right? Yeah. He wants to save the world just like us. That means he has to be a good guy.
Stubba agreed.
I never doubted he was a good guy, Stubba. It's just... You guys all understand how serious our job is. Ferdinand. He doesn't always take things seriously. I don't know if he really gets how important this is.
Before anyone could say anything else, Ferdinand stuck his head back in the room.
Hey dudes, are we heading out or what? We'll talk about it later, Mario,
Maisie assured him quietly, patting his arm before following after the others. Knowing he didn't have much choice, Mario followed after them as well.
Ugh, I'm probably just being silly again. I know I shouldn't be worried.
He muttered to himself as they headed over to the stairwell.
I mean, the guys are right. Ferdinand wouldn't be a guardian if he weren't right for the job, would he?
Goodness, Mario, you sound even more stressed out than I usually am, said a voice. I think you need to stop worrying so much and have more faith in your friends. You could always count on us, couldn't you?
Well, sure, but... You're the hardest working person I know. You really think he's going to be up to this?
Come on man. You're not worried, are you? Asked another voice. Sure, this guy's a little whacked out, but he's still cool. You better believe it, Gonzales. Laughed somebody else, and Mario suddenly realized there were three voices this time. Not all of us are wound as tight as Featherbrain over there, but we always come through for ya just the same. Yeah, just what wait, what did you call me? The first voice demanded. Mario stifled a grin.
Well, I suppose if you guys aren't worried, maybe he'll end up surprising us. Stranger things have happened in this group, right?
Yeah. Now that's what I like to hear, said the second voice. There's nothing to worry about as long as you're around, Mario. That's why you're the man. Yep, you and that blue dude are gonna get along just great. I can tell, said the third voice. Oh, hang on, watch your head, Gonzales.
Hey.
Mario didn't snap out of it quickly enough before the door to the stairwell suddenly swung open and smacked him right in the face.
Oh no. Sorry, Mario.
Hannah cried from the other side of the door.
Don't worry about it,
he wheezed, picking himself up off the floor and hurrying after his friends. End of chapter.